Hey guys, it's Nicole here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all good and keeping safe. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about studying psychology in education, or the education studies course at the University of Bristol. I'm going to be speaking about what the course entails throughout the 3 years, the structure of the course, the teaching, the lectures, basically all the details, because I studied it for 3 years and I know a lot about the education course as well. So I thought that'd be interesting to sort of give my perspective and my experience of the course. Before I get into the video, if you aren't already, please make sure you're subscribed and give this video a massive thumbs up. I'm almost at 200 subscribers, which is my next target, and it will make me so happy, so please make sure you're subscribed. At the University of Bristol, they offer 2 courses in the School of Education, which is the Education Studies course and the Psychology in Education. I'm now aware that there's the opportunity to do a year abroad, which I'm very envious because I didn't have that choice, because we were the first cohort of this course. So when this course first came out, my year was the first year to actually study the course. So they were kind of just developing the course and the options and everything. So that is something exciting for the people that are potentially planning on studying it for the next years. What's really nice about the Psychology in Education course and the Education Studies course is the fact that they are a smaller group and they're a smaller cohort in comparison to other courses. For example, maths has a couple hundreds, whereas I had about roughly 26 in my class, and then with the education we had about 30-40 people, so it's a really nice small group, and I found it was more student focused. I feel like because you have a smaller group, the lecturers give you more attention, you're able to convey your contributions to the class, you feel more confident, you don't feel as anxious as contributing as it would be if there was a bigger class. Also, we don't have lectures, so a lot of our lectures were like seminars. So for those who don't know, seminars are basically smaller group work, which are kind of like in a classroom setting, and the lectures will be in a bigger lecture theatre. Now, only in my 3rd year and an optional unit in my 2nd year was I in a lecture theatre. So because the classes were so small for my lectures, we didn't need to be in a big room, so it literally always felt like I was in a classroom, which was really nice, because I was worried about coming to uni and kind of not knowing, being anxious to put my hand up if I wanted to answer a question or anything, and in this way you kind of felt more comfortable because it was a smaller group. The difference between education studies and psychology in education is the fact that the education studies is more basically school teaching focused. A lot of the people on the course end up wanting to be teachers or going down that route. You don't necessarily have to, but that's kind of the focus they kind of take, because in doing the education course it gives you that educational foundation and it gives you the knowledge and the experience, because we have a placement in 2nd year to go down the educational route and in school settings. Psychology in education is more psychology based. We do a lot more kind of memory learning, more about the brain, biopsychology, the nervous system, and it's almost like applied psychology. So it's literally educational psychology, which is exciting. It was something that I was really interested in. Same as the education, we get the option to do placement in 2nd year, and the difference between the two as well is the fact that the Psychology in Education course is BPS accredited and the education course is not. This is important if you want to go down the psychological route after you graduate, if you want to do kind of like a psychology masters, or you want to go down to research, clinical practice, different courses, you have to be BPS accredited, and it also tailors the structure of the course, so it has to have certain criteria and certain guidelines to match the BPS accreditation. Now, for those who don't know, the BPS accreditation is the British Psychological Society. I had to think about that one. Society, and it a lot of courses have the BPS accreditation because it's something that is kind of it's almost like a governing body. It's almost like an exam board of what you kind of need a psychology course to have in order for you to continue on doing psychology work when you graduate. One of the things I think which are really unique about these courses is the fact that you get the chance to do a placement without actually being taken out of the learning and the basically uni environment. So if you choose to do the placement unit, it takes place in the 2nd year and it happens once a week throughout term. So for me, my placement was on a Wednesday, and it meant I had uni Monday and Tuesday, and then I had my placement on Wednesday, and then I had uni for the rest of the week. And I found it was a really nice way to sort of break up the learning and the lectures and seminars, and it also meant that in some instances where you have placement where you're completely taken out of the year, it meant that we weren't taken out. It means that we literally were just still doing our placement whilst learning as well, and I kind of really liked that. Some of the example units in first year for education studies and psychology in education would be like education and social change, education in the global south, intro into psychology, which was basically giving that psychological grounding and foundation for everyone. What was really nice was in the first year, it starts off very, very broad, and it makes sure that everyone's on the same page. You have a lot of education and psych and ed people together, and it gives the education people a chance to do a bit of psychology if they wanted to. However, throughout the course, there is certain units only limited to the psych and ed people, because they are like, they'll have the psychology background, and once again being BPS accredited. Throughout the course, what I really liked is Bristol allow you to pick more of the units as you go on. So in second year, most of the units I picked because I really enjoyed, and third year I literally picked all the units I wanted. So a lot of the work I was doing in my final year was more psychology based. So I had a unit like, I had cognitive psychology, I had developmental, biological, and it was so interesting because I was picking what I wanted to do, whereas the first year it was kind of more like they kind of laid it out to you. There was that choice to pick 1 or 2 units, but as you go on throughout your degree, you get to pick more of what you want to do, which I find you end up doing better because it's something that you want to do. Because it is a smaller course, this meant there was more opportunities to get to know the lecturers, get to know the staff, more opportunities in terms of parties. They had a lot of parties, so every year they'd have a Christmas, Chinese New Year, and sort of like a summer party. Because it was such a small group, they could like spend money and get us like food and drink and stuff, and it was so lovely because you really got to know the lecturers and the staff. And my lecturers literally know me on a first name basis, which was so lovely, and they're really supportive. And it was kind of like we were sort of there, it almost kind of felt like, of course there was that professionalism of like they were our lecturers and everything, but it was nice that they knew us on that personal level to know our name. Whereas my friends were saying in other courses that the lecturers literally wouldn't even know their name if they saw them on the street, whereas my lecturers will be like, hi Nicole, how are you, how was your summer, how was this? And it's really nice. And they were speaking to us about how they've literally watched us grow throughout the 3 years. And as well as that, there's things like we've got an intramural netball team, we've got a course society, there's so much fun things to get involved in. And some of the stuff that we did when we had our party, so over Christmas they did sort of this like elf, like, what's it called, like where you had to find the elf around the education building, and they like hid these little elves everywhere, and we like got in teams, and then we had to like find the elves, and then the winner got a prize. Or they do like, I don't know, like Christmas jumper party, like Christmas jumper competitions, and it's just so lovely, and it's such a nice atmosphere. And I felt that whenever I needed anything, I could literally just go to my lecturers because I knew they were there. I could email them or email support staff or go to their office, and it really was such a warm and encouraging learning environment, which I really enjoyed. In terms of assessments, it really varies. So in first year we had exams, we had multiple choice, long answer, as well as essays, etc. But in second year we had no exams at all. And in third year, I literally only had 1 exam. So it's kind of like it's not built up on the exams, which is quite good, and it's kind of why a lot of people ended up taking the course, because it is not exam heavy in comparison to where some of the other courses, their assessment is 100% exams, whereas this we got a chance to do sort of like, we did posters, essays, presentations, lab reports. We kind of did an array of different assessment types. So if you are kind of worried about exams, this course barely has any exams, so that's something that you shouldn't really worry about too much. In terms of dissertation, so final year project at the end, everyone has to do a dissertation, and it is 8 to 10,000 words, and it completely varies. You don't have to do psychology in education or education. I have friends, some of the titles that my friends did was bilingualism. They spoke about eating disorders, social media, all sorts. It does not have to be psychology and education focused. I chose mine to do autism, and I'm going to do a whole video on that, speaking about that process if people are interested. For both these courses, I have barely scratched the surface. However, I wanted to give you guys sort of like a brief overview and give you a little taster of what these courses would be like studying them without boring you too much. However, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to comment down below, and you can always Instagram message me. My name is Nicole_Veronica on Instagram. I answer all my DMs, so I'll be more than happy to give you kind of like a more in-depth answer if there was any specific questions or anything. And also anybody looking to go to the University of Bristol, or you've applied, you're planning, I will happily do a video on your subject. If there was a specific subject you wanted to know more information about, I could find one of my friends, ask their opinion, look at different units and make a completely separate video on that. So comment down below if that was something that you potentially wanted to see. That is all for today's video. If you are not already, please make sure you are subscribed, give this video a massive thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.